All right, guys, listen up. If you want to sleep like a gangster, go visit my friends at bearmattress.com/Chael. Use my code Chael. That's going to get you 40% off. That's not what they're offering the general public, guys. That is just for you. Bear Mattress is a premium fiberglass free mattress shipped right to your door. You don't need a pickup truck. You don't need 3 buddies. You just open the box, let it inflate, and boom, you've now upgraded your life. And here's the best part. Bear has now got a sleep quiz that'll match you with the perfect mattress. Me, I run a little hot. I like support, and Bear nailed it. It matched me with the Star Hybrid based on how I sleep. I've been sleeping on this thing for 2 months, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, it is the best I have felt getting out of bed in years. I stay cool. I'm not tossing around like a frog in a sock. And the whole thing is clean, safe, and fiberglass free. Bear's surveys show that people sleep better, recover faster, and feel better. And I believe it. You get free shipping, a 120-night sleep trial, a limited lifetime warranty, and financing options if you want them. Look, I love my Bear mattress. And you will too. Upgrade your sleep right now at bearmattress.com/Chael. Remember, code Chael gets you 40% off. Guys, do it today, because remember, champions don't procrastinate. Tristan Ham. You guys know him? Stud. Total stud. But he put out a post here on X. Anthony Joshua says a real training camp costs $700,000. This is very accurate, says Tristan Ham. My last camps were about $500,000. Zero BS. You got to live a second life. You got to have a second home. An entire team. Distracting from your current system. That's the part people ignore when they ask why influencers like Chase don't magically get better. You're not just learning to fight. You're paying for coaches, sparring, recovery. Trying to run the business of your life. Okay. He's not wrong. I want him to be wrong. I want to make fun of that. And I want to make fun of him for saying that. But he's not wrong. If you do a training camp, these guys are spending between $500,000 and $700,000. There's even $1 million training camps. But let's break down what he said. Why? Let's just break down the economics of it. All right, he said you got to have a second life. So whatever home you have, whatever family you have, you must go somewhere else. That is a very common belief of boxers in training camp, that they must go somewhere else. And then you got to bring everything in, whatever that is. Whether you're getting electrical and heat to the facility, whether you're, now you still got to find the gym somewhere, and then you've got your coaches. And coaches are typically around 10%. Now, fighters are very happy to pay 10% when they're not making very much money. Once they go and they make real money, let's say a guy does $30 million. He doesn't want to pay his trainer $3 million. And the reason he's just going, hey, listen, it's just too much to train me. You would be very happy with $30,000. If I give you $300,000, I'm giving you 10 times more than you would be very happy with. But if I give you 10%, I'm giving you $3 million. I'm giving you even 10 times more than that. So let's just cap it. That bothers me. I don't like that. If the deal when you were a little kid at the dog park, you're getting $100 and this guy's taking $10. That deal needs to be good when you're making $30 million. That is my opinion. I'd have paid the $3 million, but when guys don't, and they start paying for training camp, and they start paying sparring partners, and they start bringing everybody in, and then you got to eat. So now you have a cook that comes in, and then he talks about recovery. Recovery is largely massage. It can mean other things. Just nothing is nearly as good as massage, and I mean not even close. The ice baths and the stretching, the yoga, whatever it is you want to do. If you put all of them together and times it by 5, it's not as good as one 60-minute massage. But anyway, that's for the fighter to decide, and there's just a lot of expenses that come with it, and all of a sudden you've got these $500,000 and $600,000 and $700,000 bills. I just want to take a look at that. For what? For what on earth are you talking about? I mean, who on earth convinced you that you need to do that? And you must understand, there's 2 practices a day. There can't be more than that. Okay, if you ever hear from somebody in any field that they do 3 a day, just know to dismiss that person. It's not necessarily that they're lying. They just don't train at an adequate pace. You should not be able physically to do 3 practices a day, and no great athlete would, because they do train at a very high pace. Now let's talk about that pace. In the morning, you want 60 minutes. Now that's going to be, in wrestling, we would call it a lift and a drill. You're going to drill with a partner, you're going to get soaking wet, you're going to go pound out some weights, and you're out of there. But either way, you're at 60 minutes. You don't want to be over that. That's kind of the magic number. And there's an entire scientific basis for that. And it came from Russia, but they were dominating the Olympic Games. It got greatly studied by the U.S. It got taken to our Olympic Training Center now. I'm just sharing with you, your morning workout is right around 60 minutes. And largely it's just you. That will not be a team workout. That might be you and a coach, you and a heavy bag, you and a jump rope, but it's going to be you. There's not going to be any distractions. Right? When you have a team, you can get the same amount of work done. You'll need 2 hours to get the same amount of work done that you could do in about 40 to 50 minutes if you're on your own. You're showing, a guy's got a question, he drills, then you drill, it's back and forth. If it's just you, it's a very hard workout, but the time is much shorter. Your afternoon session will be less than, it will not 1 second beyond 2 hours. All right, so now you've got 3 hours a day that you're in the gym. And when you were coming up, to get to this spot where you're making the big money and you can afford a $500,000 training camp, to get to that spot, you didn't have those things. So if you didn't have those things to get to the main event spot, why would you think you need those things once you're in the main event spot? I don't conceptually understand that. And no great athlete from any other field aside from boxing does this training camp thing. Kobe Bryant slept in the same bed every single day. Michael Jordan slept in the same bed every single day. Serena, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady. No great athlete from any field believes 8 weeks before the competition that they've got to go for what? I mean, let me just ask you, like, all the stresses in your life, everything that's going on, and the wife's nagging, and the kids are crying, and the TV's loud, like, just imagine all of these things. But when you go to practice for that hour in the morning, none of those things come with you. That's where you are in the camp. That's where you are completely isolated. Then you got to go back to that life. And maybe you're tired. Maybe you try to get a nap in, but there's all these noises, there's distraction, your phone's ringing. When you go back in for that second workout, none of those things come with you. There is no phone ringing. There is no distraction. There is no wife nagging, kids screaming. So, by your own admittance, if the goal is to make sure that you can focus on this 1 hour and then a 2 hour in the same day, workout by workout and day by day, what difference would it make where you were sleeping? And if you came up through the Golden Gloves, if you came up through the World Championships, the Olympic Games, if you came up in the professional ranks and made it to a main event, made it to a title shot, you didn't have any of those things. You didn't have them, and I don't need to ask you. I know you didn't. You didn't have the money to have them. Somewhere boxing has convinced that the top guy has got to go off and do this training camp, and it's nothing more than a business. Like, taking advantage of a fighter is a very easy thing to do because you're dealing with a very dumb person. But what could possibly be dumber? Not than spending the $700,000. I mean, that is just frivolous. That is beyond mind-blowing. That's not actually the part I'm referring to. How did you convince the guy that he needed to be in that environment in the first place? Why would a guy not be with his coach and his team that got him to that spot? Wherever he shows up and wherever he fits into that equation apparently worked. The idea of changing it, it's just a very baffling one to me. And it's not, they're not alone. And a lot of guys do this in MMA, but they don't understand the disrespect that they're showing to their team and to their coaches. Right? All the guys that were there to help to raise you up. Now you're going in training camp. You're going to. Some guys are in different states. They'll go 5 states over and they'll lock in because they're going to train here. It's like, well, wait a minute, but I'm training you every day that is a part of that camp. So do I not have the right answers? Does my facility not have the right equipment? Do we not have the right attitude? Well, why do you believe that your answers are over here? And It's a wildly disrespectful thing to do. In addition to, what are you talking about that you have to lock in and focus? What are you talking about? There is no NBA team. There is no NFL team. Nobody makes the Super Bowl and then in the weeks prior to the Super Bowl changes what they did to get to that spot. It's baffling. I don't get it. I don't get the idea of training camp. I fundamentally do not understand what guys are talking about. And now you find out that they're paying $500,000 and $600,000 and $700,000. And you start to realize somebody got a hold of them. Somebody is orchestrating that. The fighter is not going out and finding the Airbnb and then making a deal over here and making a deal over here and making a deal over here. They're not doing that. They've got a guy. A guy goes and does all of that, which means a guy is collecting all of that. A guy is ripping you off.